Hi there, we are Group J, and I'm Casey. This is Jack, Hannah, Thomas, Nat, and James. And in this presentation, we'll introduce to you the concept of emotional intelligence, and together explore its importance and implications for both individual effectiveness and organizational success. The very central tenets of emotional intelligence make clear that individuals are a complex combination of emotion and reason. Emotions represent an intense feeling or experience associated with specific events or circumstances, and are powerful enough to disrupt a person's mental and physical state, and ultimately their behaviors. An individual's perception of their own emotions and the emotions of others characterizes their emotional perception. Their subsequent ability to regulate these mental and behavioral processes, responding to the complex and dynamic experiences of social and interpersonal relationships, ultimately reflects their emotional intelligence. So why is this all important? Meta-analysis conducted by Van Roy found that whilst IQ is a better predictor of work and academic performance, emotional intelligence may be a more powerful predictor for the question of who will become a star performer or an outstanding leader. In an increasingly complex, diverse, and globalized workplace, it is more relevant than ever to be able to better communicate, resolve conflict, and build lasting relationships. More and more employers are interested in assessing capabilities related to outstanding performance and leadership, adopting recruitment strategies that utilize psychometric training and personality tests to predict job performance. Addressing EI and individual differences that impact on how people react and respond is crucial to increase teamwork and cooperation, and other KPIs such as productivity, effective management, stronger workplace relations, culture, and career development. Now I'll pass you on to Nat to discuss some of the theoretical foundations for emotional intelligence.
The first theory we can have a look at is the Mayer and Solovey four-branch model of emotional intelligence. The first branch of the model refers to the ability to perceive emotions. This means being able to identify different emotions such as being angry or happy within oneself and others. The second branch refers to the ability to use emotions to facilitate thought, which means using emotions to foster creativity, for example. The third branch refers to the ability to understand emotional meanings, as emotions display information that should guide people in the way that they react and respond. Finally, the fourth branch of the model talks about the ability to manage your emotions. This is important as people need to be able to control their emotions, especially ones that may be overwhelming in certain situations. The main takeaway from this model is that emotional intelligence consists of a number of abilities that are important because it would lead to greater social awareness, understanding, and better communication. Jack will now go on to discuss the second theory of emotional intelligence.
Thanks, Nat. So following Mayer and Solovey's theory is Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence theory, which discusses 5 important emotional intelligence abilities that a person needs to acquire in order to be successful in the workplace. It links emotional intelligence with job performance and workplace success. Daniel Goleman believes that the following 5 abilities are the ones that will ultimately help distinguish the top workers from the average ones. The 5 abilities are self-awareness, social skills, self-regulation, empathy, and motivation. Self-awareness is achieved when a person has good understanding of his own emotions, strengths, weaknesses, etc., and how these would affect others. Self-regulation relates to one's ability to control his unpleasant feelings so that they don't create negative impact on others. Social skills, on the other hand, is connected to one's ability to understand and manage other people's feelings so as to create a positive relationship with them. Similarly, a person can be said to have empathy skills if he can acknowledge and consider other people's feelings. Lastly, Goleman believes that to succeed in the workplace, a person needs to be able to motivate himself to perform and achieve goals. This is the end of my part. My groupmate Thomas will now take you through some empirical evidence over the next few slides.
Thank you, Jack, for covering Goleman's theory. I will now cover the empirical evidence that supports the notion that a combination of self-awareness, social management, self-management, and relationship management are key emotional intelligence abilities that contribute to success in the workplace. In a study published by the European Journal of Business and Management, Kanai and Shamfi correlated the emotional intelligence of its subjects to success factors such as optimism, leadership, relationship management, and productivity. They concluded that by expressing our emotions in a healthy manner, it creates a more conducive workplace. Employees become more able to express their ideas, collaborate in a more supportive environment, and promote not only leadership, but decision-making, group rapport, project management, and every aspect of workplace performance. I'll now also cover Picard, Linden, Bakker, and Bourne's study, Emotional Intelligence and Job Performance, the Role of Enactment and Focus on Others' Emotions, a paper published online by Routledge. The study concluded that whilst Goldman's theory says an awareness and management of our own emotions and other emotions is key to emotional intelligence, it is evident that depending on occupation and context, either a focus on one's own emotions or the emotions of others are more effective. It is not just about having emotional intelligence, but also its application that affects success. Emotionally intelligent people succeed in the workplace by being aware of the emotions within the context and choosing to prioritize the management of certain emotions. It is about efficiency, rather than just actively managing the entire situation that guides emotionally intelligent people to succeed.
My current job is to represent Google as a brand in regions and partnered stores. I recently had the opportunity of temporarily filling in for a second-in-charge position for my state. This role was very demanding and included lots of follow-ups with the team. One of many jobs was to call stores in which my staff were visiting to follow up and get feedback from the store managers as to how they were going. We call these REAs. During REAs, we ask the manager of the store how the staff is going in that store. Do they have any concerns, and what feedback do you have for them for future improvement? We then give them a rating from 1, very bad feedback, to 10, amazing feedback, which is then posted on their monthly scorecards. One store I called up about a team member of mine, Jason, had very average feedback. They said that Jason was okay and did the minimal standard, but didn't stand out, didn't go above and beyond. So for this, I gave him a rating of 6 out of 10. When the scorecards came out, Jason approached me yelling, saying I had sabotaged his job by giving him a bad REA and it was unfair. So I sat him down. I asked him if he would like me to read to him what the manager had said when I called her. He said yes. After this, I told him that I could see he was upset and I can understood why he thought that I might have sabotaged him, given that the position that I was filling was only temporary, and just a few months previous we were level and equal employees. However, it's not an acceptable way to be treated or treat someone the way he did. And yes, he did get caught up in his emotions, but how can we work together to develop a way in which when this happens next time, and he tends to get very upset and aggressive easily, so next time, how can we better approach this, and how can we give him the exercises that he needs to combat this aggression?
Thanks, Hannah. Your case study has demonstrated how a lack of emotional intelligence presents a hindrance to an employee's potential success in the workplace. By applying Goldman's theory of intelligence, organizations may improve the EQ of their employees. This can lead to higher work performance, reduced conflict, lower stress levels, productivity increases, and personal growth. Unfortunately, many companies believe that a one-day seminar is sufficient annually, but even pointed out by Goldman himself, EQ can't be improved in one day. It's a continuous process. We have prepared some recommendations based on literature for organizations to implement their EQ learnings into their teams. They need to access organizational needs to link the emotional intelligence aspects to the bottom line profit. They also must ensure that they teach all 4 components of EQ as they support each other, as some companies will only target certain aspects based on the job description. Companies must train at an individual level to access personal strengths and limitations to pinpoint individual areas of improvement. They must set clear goals and reinforced EQ as people work. This will allow companies to evaluate change over time. Companies must also provide feedback. Firstly, feedback with care, as they are trusted advisors, and their employees are more likely to improve if they feel feedback is both accurate and constructive. This feedback must also be consistent to ensure that EQ is improved over time. Now, there are 2 limitations of Goldman's theory which could reduce the effectiveness of a workplace EQ initiative. Firstly, the self-reported EQ tests have the ability to be faked, which may not provide the proper learning techniques for individuals. And secondly, there is a low correlation found between self-reported questionnaires and objective tests. A lack in standardization of measurements may leave firms not seeing a legitimate impact to their teams. However, based on the available theories, we still believe Goldman's theory is the strongest to be used in an organizational environment.